you're watching 360 Wargaming. Hi guys, today we're going to be looking at the Thunder tray from Warfactor. These movement trays are quite small, they're 1mm thick metal, designed to be used with a magnet or two in the base of your models. As you can see, they are quite small, they're easy to store, easy to stack, or you can just leave your models on them, move them from the table to your carry case and then onto your shelf when you get home. They are produced in 4 different colours by Warfactor, with a 25mm, 32mm and 40mm, as well as 60 by 35 cavalry bases, and they also have multiple different layouts. Because they work with magnets, there's no need for a rim on these models, and they are quite easy to pick up and move around with one model when you've got 5 of them on there. Warfactor recommend that you use 2 magnets in the base, using green stuff to fix them in place, but we've tested a few options so you can decide for yourselves. We're going to look at green stuff, super glue and hot glue as options for fixing the magnets, as well as using 1 or 2 as are recommended by Warfactor. Before we bring in a tray of models, why don't you take the time to like and subscribe, and we'll look at the options and the pros and cons of each. So as you can see, these are the models on the tray. They're quite easy to pick up using one of the models. Warfactor recommends using 2 magnets in the base, as it allows for 800 grams of lift, but these 5 models on the tray only weigh 41 grams, and 20 grams of that is the tray itself. What I will say though is, if you are going to use a single magnet in the base, when you lift them, make sure you lift from the middle model and not on the edges, as they are quite prone to slip if you only use a single magnet in the base. As you can see, we're going to start with super glued magnets. These are a single and a double. They are easy to do, so you just put a dab of super glue down, put your magnet in and wait around 10 to 15 minutes for the glue to dry. Super glue magnets can come loose over time, so it is recommended that you use something such as tissue paper to hold it in place. As you can see, the double magnet, you can place it anywhere on the base and lift the tray. It can go to the middle quite easily, and the models can be lifted from there. However, if you use the single magnet on one of the edges, you lift it, as you can see it comes undone, slides off the side and the models drop. That's the last thing you want when you're moving your models around the table, especially when you've got some expensive stuff on there. Next are our hot glued magnets. I did do a single and a double, but unfortunately there was a mishap and the magnets came out of the hot glue on the double one. The same situation with these. If you put the single one in the middle of the tray, quite easy to pick it up. However, if you go to the side again, you're going to get the same problem with this one as picking it up, and it will either come off or potentially slip, dropping your models on the floor. And lastly, we've got our green stuffed pieces. Well, these have held by far the best to create a closer connection to the tray itself. The downside to these is that they take 24 hours to dry and harden in place, and may still require a bit of super glue to hold them in. Again, with the single one, you can place it in the middle, lift the entire tray without any problems. But if you go to the side, again, we do get the same problem, albeit not as prominent, so it might take a few minutes, but it does come off quite easily. The double one, again, place it anywhere on the tray and it will quite easily lift the whole tray without any problems, even from the side. The downside to having the double magnets, and I found it with all of them, is that they are quite difficult to remove. So if you've got an injured model with a single magnet, press it in place, remove the model, away it goes. Once one of your double magneted models is injured, you have to give it a real twist and a push and pull it out. Can cause damage if your models aren't glued together too securely. Our personal preference with these would be to go for a single magnet, either using green stuff or hot glue. Just make sure if you are using hot glue that you cover over the magnet as well, so that they don't come out like my double ones did. And just be sure that you only ever lift from the middle model. The last thing you want is to be dropping a squad of models all over the floor. So these are the trays at $16 for a set of 4. They are quite expensive compared to plastic or MDF equivalents, especially when you have to buy your magnets separately for them. They do certainly make moving the models around the table easier, especially if you are a Horde army player. And they can even be aligned in a specific way so that if you do have a 10-man squad as opposed to a 5, you can just lay them side by side and it won't be an issue. I wouldn't recommend them for a Horde army player though. They, like I said, they are quite expensive, so do work better for small squads. I'm looking at you Custodes players, they'll be perfect. They are a unique idea. There's nothing like this on the market from what I've seen, and maybe even Warfactor could get in touch with a case manufacturer, A-Case for example, to make this a more desirable product, so you can just move it from your table to your case and then to your shelves a lot easier. I won't be using these for my Imperial Guard army. We do take a lot of wounds and there are a lot of models on the table, but I'll certainly be using the 32mm version for my Primaris Marines army. So I hope this was useful information. Thanks for joining us today, and remember to keep an eye out for more videos coming soon.